Hello friends. Now we are covering this business research method, and we have already covered uh, three parts of it, and we are into the fourth part, and we are talking basically about different terminologies which is going to be used in understanding this experimental research design. So we have already covered these three parts. We are into this fourth part, and before we move ahead, let me give you some glimpse of this. We have already covered internal validity, external validity, and what are the factors which influences internal and external validity. Apart from some basic terminologies like dependent variable, independent variable. So if you are not aware of these basic terminologies, please go through the previous lecture videos. It will give you some clear picture. And after completing those videos, you can come down to this experimental research design video. And in this, we are going to cover some basic terminologies and words which are regularly being used in dealing with experimental research design. So let's move further. In this, we have almost covered the important points like concept of causal relationship, concept of independent, dependent variable, concomitant variable, extraneous variable, treatment, and control. We have already covered. We are into this types of experimental design. So in experimental research design, these are the basic terms which is going to be used on a regular basis. So we have to relate these terminologies with the examples which we have already discussed. So I'll cover it one by one, but before that, let's take an example, and through these examples, I'll clarify things. The first one is X. In experimental design, X is basically your exposure. Exposure, what kind of exposure? Like if you talk about exposure in example which we were taking regularly in previous lecture video was of sales training and sales performance. We were giving sales training to the sales force, and sales performance was being measured, and we were comparing the performance, how much change is taking place due to the sales training given to the workforce. Here, the same exposure or treatment is going to be denominated by this X. Always remember, this X is going to be denominated by, let's change the color of this into this one, and then I think it will distinguish the text here. Now, X is the exposure, and exposure is basically, in our example, we have taken sales training as the major factor due to which sales performance is increasing. So our exposure or treatment is basically our sales training. Second terms which is going to be used is O. O is observation. Once we have given the sales training, we usually measure their performance through observation. The third one is random selection. Random selection means the chances of getting selected of every single unit remains the same. Like take an example here to understand this random selection. For an example, if 70 students are there in a class, take help of these textbooks. 70 students are there, and we want to select 20 students, and that's to our selection would be random. So what we are going to do, we'll take note down of these 70 students in a sheet. We'll keep all those sheets in a box, and one by one, we'll select the students, and we'll keep on repeating this exercise till we get 20 students out of those 70 students. So if I'm going to put my hand in that box where sheets are being kept, if every single units which is part of that box or a student, then chances of getting selected of every single unit in the box remains the same, because I don't know the name who is going to come next and whose name is going to be selected through this random selection. So if chances of getting selected of every single unit of sample size remains the same, that kind of selection is going to be referred as a random selection. So this term is going to be used again and again, and I'm going to use this random selection again and again. Why we usually use this random selection? So that biasness can be removed from the experiment. So three terms we have used. X is exposure, or you can say it as a treatment. O is observation. R is the random assignment. Now, some important points here they have discussed, right? The movement from left to right indicates the time sequence of the event. If we talk about, this is the first observation, O1, X is the exposure, that means treatment, O2 is the second observation after the treatment is being implicated. Now, the movement from left to right indicates the time sequence of the event. Just note this. Left to right indicates the time sequence of the event. What does it say? Like time sequence of O1 and O2. These two, O1 and O2, must be varying in terms of time sequence. Like first this O1 must have happened, and after giving this exposure or treatment to observation or the test unit, we have got this O2 is the second observation. So if we talk about time sequence of first one, O1 is, suppose for example it is 10 a.m., then time sequence of O2 is bound to be later on by 10 a.m. It must be 11 a.m., 12 a.m., 1 p.m., whatever the time would be, but it is going to occur after the first observation has taken. So left indicates lesser time, right observation takes greater time or more later on time, and it is bound to happen after observation 1 is taken. So this statement is saying the time sequence must be there in a particular experimental example. All symbols in one row indicates the subject belongs to that specific treatment group. Means in a particular row, whatever terminologies are going to be used, it is going to be considered with the same treatment for the entire group. Like X will remain same for the entire group. This is not going to change. Third one is the vertical arrangement of the symbol. Means this line, take care of this. Vertical arrangement of the symbol means that these symbols refers to the event or activities that occur simultaneously. So if we talk about two events and we are referring to these two events, and if they are happening simultaneously, that means observation 1 here and observation 1 here are taking place at the same time. O2 here and this O2 here are taking place at the same time. So this is the important indication of vertical arrangement. Only difference here is O1 and O2 observations are taking place and observations are measured without having random selection, but here in this case one random selection is being made before taking observation O1 and O2. So second one experiment is done through random selection, and while first one is taken from without random selection. So this is the basic terminologies, and these basic terminologies will keep on happening again and again. So remember these basic terminologies, will help you in future too. Next is remove these markers. Even you can remove this. Now in this example, we'll take two examples in this slide, and in this example O1 treatment, exposure, O2 and O3. Let's draw it through, or can take this. O1 and O2, O1 and O2, O1, O2 and O3, three observations were being made. First observation was taken. After that, then exposure was imposed. Means exposure means treatment was implicated. Treatment means cells training, and after that cells training, two observations were taken. Like O1 is the observation taken before this treatment, means cell training, and O2 and O3 is observed after giving this cells training. So O1 is the measurement taken prior to the applying treatment X, and O2 and O3 of the observation measurement of the group taken after the application of the treatment. This is the first example. But in this, no random selection is being made. Now, take the second example. In this, random selection is being made, and in random selection, there are two cases where one group was exposed with first observation was taken before the actual exposure was taken, but in the second group, no observation was taken before the exposure is implicated. So take for an example, mark through this R O1 and O1 exposure and O2. R means random selection of the group. This is the difference. Here no random selection was made, but here random selection is going to be implicated. And through this observation 1 is taken before giving self training, and once self training is given, then O2 is observed. Means after self training, whatever the observation would be, it is going to be measured. But in the second example, no prior observation, like no prior observation like this is taken here. So only exposure was imposed, and after that O3 is measured. So the above scheme indicates here, the above scheme indicates that two groups of individuals were assigned at random to two treatment groups at the same time. So as this is the vertical arrangement, in vertical arrangement we have already said in the previous slide, like whatever things would remain there just adjacent to each other are going to take place at the same time, means O1, but here no exposure or no observation is there, that means they are going to take place at the same time. O2 and O3 are going to take place at the same time. Second thing which is coming out of it, the first group received both pre-test and post-test measurement, means before exposure is implicated, O2, O1 observation was measured, and after giving treatment, then again O2 observation was measured. So this is O2, O1 and O2 is measured. Now second group received the post treatment. In the second group, only post treatment is given. So if you want to calculate the impact of sales training, we are just going to take a difference between O3 and O2. We'll come to know the impact of this X or exposure. If we'll measure, because in the first group, same exposure was given, in the second group, the same exposure was given, but in the first group, O1 was taken before the exposure was given, and in second group, no prior observation was taken. So if you want to check the basic change which has taken place due to this exposure, we are going to measure this O3 to O2. So these are the basic terms which we'll keep on using while discussing experimental research design. So things will get difficult as we move on to the different slides. So try to mug it up or try to understand all these, like random selection, O2, O1, these are the different observation, X is treatment. So you have to remember these terms for further slides also. We'll keep on using, remove this here itself, and then we'll move to the next slide. Now, classification of the experimental research design. And I'll just give you the glimpse of the entire experimental research design, and we'll cover one by one. So let's start this experimental research design. First, experimental research design is categorized into pre-experimental research design. And in pre-experimental research design is one-shot case study method. Second one is one group pre-test and post-test. Third one is a static group. Don't bother yourself by these terms, because once you will start covering these basic terms of these experimental research, then you will easily understand these terminologies, because we'll cover this in our next slides, and one by one, once you complete all these different types, you will easily understand these terminologies. So first type is pre-experimental research design, and in pre-experimental, one-shot case study, one group pre-test, post-test, and a static group. So these are the different types of the pre-experimental. The most important thing, it is very loosely structured, and in all these three types, no random selection is being made. So in most of these types, chances are there whatever results are coming, that should be biased, and so many internal validity implications would be there. We'll cover this in detail in later slides, but try to understand no random selection is going to be made in these three types. That's why it is loosely structured, and whatever results this pre-experimental research design are going to give are very vague in nature, and that is not going to be the appropriate one. So let's move to the next type. Second type is quasi-experimental. It is also loosely structured, but more structured than pre-experimental. So these this quasi-experimental research design is having two types: time series and multiple time series. So several observation at the same time is going to be measured in time series and multiple time series. We'll cover it through different examples also. Third type is true experimental. True experimental is more structured than quasi-experimental, but less structured than statistical experimental research design. In true experimental, three types are there. Sorry, four types are there, and only three types are there. Then pre-test and post-test control group, post-test only control group, and Solomon fold group. Uh, these terminologies are again from here true experimental onwards. We are going to choose sample size randomly. So these are going to be very specific, and the chances of getting biased result should be minimal in this true experiment. Further, moving ahead, statistical. This is the most structured, and chances of extraneous variable to implicate or give some impact on your subject matter remains minimal in a statistical research design. That's why it is going to be considered as the most structured statistical or experimental research design. In a statistical, first one is completely randomized. The second one is randomized block designs. Third one is Latin square, and the fourth one is factorial design. So this is it in terms of various types of experimental research design. Let me uh, clarify a few things. Like pre-experimental is loosely structured, and this is the most vague kind of experimental research design where biasness should be very much prominent. An extraneous variable, we are not able to negate the impact of extraneous variable pre-experimental, but more than this, quasi-experimental is bit structured but less than true experimental, and true experimental is less structured than a statistical. So the most appropriate result is going to be observed in statistical research design. So I'm going to cover only up to this. From next lecture videos, we'll try to cover it one by one. In first, we'll cover pre-experimental. In the second lecture video, we'll cover quasi-experimental. In third, we'll cover true experimental. And the fourth, we are going to cover statistical experimental design. Thank you so much, and give some feedback on the lecture video so that we can improvise things accordingly.